Aloha. Welcome to Netra's News. This is Netra Halperin, and this evening we're going to be talking about quality of life and how to have policies that will create more quality of life for Maui. So I have three great guests here this evening. We've got Gylian Solay, who is a small business owner for Organize Your Life, exactly. And then I have Irene Bowie, who's Executive Director of Maui Tomorrow. And Mick Ryan, who's the owner of Dog and Duck Irish Pub and Diamond Ice Bar and Grill.
Correct.
Okay, great. So, guests, please tell me, what is your vision for quality of life, and how could we have a higher quality of life on Maui? So I'll speak to you first, since you're right here. How would you have a higher quality of life for Maui?
I think it's about balance, finding the balance between how we support the land, support our community, and we all have different desires and needs and visions, and how do we incorporate it all so that we all have a bigger picture of what can Maui be for all of us. So it's finding how to use it all, the chains, the small businesses, bring them somewhat in balance.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you. Irene?
I agree. I think it is balance, and an image that we like to use is the three-legged stool, and that you have economic, environmental, and social needs, and they really do need to be in balance. Anytime you're going too much in any one way, you're leaving the other two out, and so I think that's, a way to look at it. I would really focus on clean water, clean air for us, sustainable living and energy and agriculture, and I think smart growth. I think that there are a lot of models of a better way of doing things that we could be modeling after those principles, and I'd love to see us move a little bit more towards that.
Absolutely, I agree. And Mick, what is your vision for more quality of life?
Well, my vision, since we've got into the bars, we've hired girls as school teachers, and one of our girls worked at Kihei school, and she came and told us one day, she said, there's no books at the school. So we said, well, let's do something about that. And then we had a fundraiser, a party, and we had a silent auction, and we gave them $3,000, but this was just a small part of the community actually taking part in it. But I mean, once you start working with the community with things like fundraisers, it's amazing how many people will get up and help you. And I just, it's an ongoing situation. We got plenty more ideas of what we want to do and give it back to the community. I mean, we live in paradise. I think I've been to a lot of countries. I've lived all over Europe, and I mean, I think Maui's the best place in the world, and I think Kihei, where I live, is the best place in the world. And I love it so much. And I mean, we live here, and it's beautiful every day. To give back a little, it doesn't hurt anybody.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And the point that a school teacher has to pretty much work at a bar in the evening to make ends meet, I think is a policy question we should be looking at. Why do teachers make so little that they have to have a second job in the evening? And why is there no books for the school? I mean, fundraisers are great, and we are paying taxes. Maui, lots and lots of money comes through Maui. We shouldn't have to have a fundraiser to pay for books. When we were young, did you get books when you were kids? We all got books, Yeah. What's gone on? So that's great to know the visions that you're talking about. And there was some videos that you brought, Irene, and let's look at those when we have a moment.
Yeah, those are a couple of my heroes.
Okay.
Maud Barlow is a world water activist, and she goes all over the world talking about the water crises that we're in now and that will continue to grow, and how we need to really be looking at how we deal with water. I mean, we know across the country right now the droughts that are hitting everywhere, and according to a lot of climate experts, you know, this is the new normal, and so how we treat our water resources is so important. I mean, that's really basic quality of life. So she's wonderful, and then I also brought a little clip from Michael Pollan, who's just a wonderful person speaking on growing food and small agriculture versus large corporate agriculture, and what we really need to be doing to feed ourselves. So water and food, those are basic.
Food and water.
You don't have quality if you don't have that.
You can't live without them. And if you don't have clean water and good food, your quality of life is absolutely going to deteriorate. And it's interesting, the thing about the food, this is food that people think is good food. They are thinking this is good food that I'm eating, and the damaging effects are cumulative. They're not like they get sick and die down. It's long term over time that the health effects start affecting them.
And Michael Pollan, I think, is so interesting in that he really speaks to how we got to where we are now, how farming became a corporate business rather than the small farmers that, you know, so many of our ancestors, we came from that small farming, and the changes that took place, particularly after the Second World War, that set us on a course of really large agriculture, a lot of corn, a lot of soybean production, and kind of the detriment of the land and our health.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's watch the video on the water.
Is water a commodity to be put on the open market for sale, like running shoes or Coca-Cola? Should the market decide allocation of water? Should large corporations be able to control and make decisions around water? Should corporations and people be able to make money from water when other people are dying from the lack of it? Or is water part of our global commons? Is it part of is it a public trust that belongs to all of us? And is it a human right? And these are not semantics, because if you believe that it's a human right, then you have to know that you can't sell it, trade it, or refuse it to someone because they cannot afford it. So this question of whether there's going to be a corporate cartel that owns and controls and distributes water based on a for-profit system, or whether water is going to be determined as a public trust, is absolutely central to the questions being debated here at the World Water Forum. Up until recently, we have not been able to get much movement on the right to water at very important institutions like the United Nations, but the United Nations is now seriously looking at an instrument or a covenant, moving slowly towards, I believe, a covenant on the right to water. But what we cannot get to budge is the World Bank or the World Water Council or the trade agreements like the World Water Council or the World Water Forum or the World Trade Organization. We cannot get these institutions to budge for a very good reason, and that is that they support the notion that water is a commodity and must be put on the open market for sale, and must be a for-profit commodity. So this is not a semantic issue. If we can determine that water is a right, it doesn't mean that tomorrow everything will be fine. But it does give citizens of the world a tool to use with their own governments to say that it has been determined and ratified in nation-state constitutions and at the United Nations that water is a human right and cannot be denied to people who are now dying from a lack of it. We are here, we believe that the World Water Council is not democratically elected. Nobody in the world has given them the right to become these lords of water and speak on behalf of the whole world. We believe that the people of the world have a very, very different view and want more local control, much more democracy and transparency, and they want to be guaranteed the right to water for life and to have a priority placed on our water that says water for ecosystem health, water for life and living, water for sustainable local food production. These have got to be the priority. And we can bring that into law. We can do that everywhere in every country and in every jurisdiction in the world. We can bring in that kind of language. We can introduce it and actually make it formally part of the law, constitutional law of the land, and we can do it internationally. And let me tell you, we had better hurry. because the world is in crisis. You're going to keep hearing about drought here and drought there. It's not drought. It is the abuse and mismanagement and pollution and displacement of water. And we are going to have to learn to live very differently with one another. And water will be our teacher, and we're going to have to learn to live differently and more lightly on this beautiful earth that we have, or we're going to run out of water.
Okay.
I think it's so perfect when she says that we're going to have to learn to live lightly on the land.
Absolutely, and learn to live differently with each other.
Exactly.
That it's not that we are lacking science. I mean, science is way there. It's learning how to live differently with each other is the key.
And also relevant when she's talking about water as a public trust. That's so much the case for Hawaii right now with the restoration of stream flow. And Maui Tomorrow's been involved in that issue for quite some time in the West Maui Mountains and Navaeha. Maui Tomorrow, along with Hui and Navaeha, have been in court proceedings to restore stream flow back to the four great waters of West Maui. And we had oral arguments in the state Supreme Court, oh gosh, I can't think, maybe 2 months ago. So we're awaiting a decision that will come in hopefully sometime before the end of the year, and that would put hopefully more water back in two of the streams that in the last decision no water was restored to Iao Stream and Waikapu Stream. Of the four, Waihe'e, Waiehu, Iao, and Waikapu are the four streams. So they did put some stream water back in two and not any in the other two. It's being diverted for a monocrop for sugarcane.
Absolutely.
And so quality of life for the people that are trying to be small farmers that are farming taro. So.
And the other thing I noticed she said is local control. And I think local is a very big issue here. And so I wanted to talk about an issue that's very hot in South Maui right now, which is the proposed outlet mall. And I know, I think everybody here has a strong opinion about that. And so why don't we start with you, Mick? How do you, as a small business owner, feel about the outlet mall?
Well, you know, of course, I own two businesses in Kihei, and the rents are pretty fixed, you know, and they're not going to go anywhere for a while. Now this outlet mall, that's going to be a massive mall. Is this the one we're talking about in Kihei?
Yeah,
it's going to be bigger than Alawana. I mean, it's going to be just an absolutely jump. A lot of businesses are going to run into this mall. And it's, if you haven't been to, I go to Nevada, I go to Reno, and I see beautiful shopping centers that's just been finished, maybe 5 years old, but nobody's in there because they built the new shopping center across the road. There's going to be a lot of people jumping around. But I'm not really, I mean, there's going to be a lot of stores. It's going to help out Kihei. I mean, we've got to go back to the 20 years ago when the price of everything was so expensive to go to the stores. Then we had Kmart come in, then we had Costco come in, and I mean, it helped us out. This will be bringing down the prices of things, and you know, it's going to make Kihei a lot more convenient. It's a big growing town, but it's going to be a lot of problems for businesses. You know, everyone's going to try to move into this place, and it's going to hurt some businesses. You know, there'll be the big stores in there, but will we have the people around that can actually buy in these stores? It's a different question. Yeah.
And it's interesting you mentioned about the outlet, the big stores coming in and prices going down. And I've heard a lot of people talk about that, but you know, Costco, the things they sell at Costco, the things they sell at Home Depot, the things they sell at Office Max, those are more essential. You know, you got to buy office supplies, you got to buy hardware if you're, you know, construction supplies if you're building. These are going to be clothes, and clothes are clothes. Clothes are, you know, you can buy clothes online, and I've been going talking to everybody in Kihei lately, and the wealthier people, they don't buy here anyway, and they won't buy here anyway. The wealthier people are going to go elsewhere to shop, as they always do. And I would say we kind of have a two-class society here in Maui. We've got those who are broke and just struggling, and those who have plenty of money. And the broke people will can't afford. So I'm thinking these are clothing, which is a very different item than they sell at all these other stores.
Mm-hmm. Like you say, I like what you said about two different lots of people.
Yeah.
Now there's people about 45 and they're buying, well, we're not going to buy our clothes till we get to California.
Yeah.
Then you've got the 25-year-olds to the 30-year-olds that are down in the shops of Wailea buying. They're going to be buying because they're young, they're earning their money, they're working hard for it, and that will be a big market for the younger people, especially the girls that work for me. They love having the best purse and the outfits, and that's how they get by. And they buy it here on Maui, so it will be successful, I think.
I don't know.
What's
about
your view
that.
here,
I
Irene?
don't really know about that. I think you had a point earlier. A lot of the retail that we have right now has a lot of empty space. I think there's a lot of empty space throughout the island. Kahumanu Center, Maui Mall, Maui Marketplace, Lahaina's, most places. And so I think you're right in that maybe a new one will open up and businesses will leave where they were and go to another one. But is that really smart growth? I don't really think so. I think you build when there's a need. And I don't know that there's a need for that. I also think it's interesting when you look at the developer's website, because right now they're trying to lease the commercial space. And one of the merits that they tout of this is that, for visitors coming in, it will be a great place to shop. But I think the way the airlines now are making you pay for, every bag, it's not like it used to be. I don't really see a lot of motivation for visitors to come here and load up on goods to take home and then have to pay more at the airport for extra baggage. So even on that, I would say for Maui Tomorrow in the legal actions that we're in right now, for us it's not really about should there be a shopping center or not be a shopping center. I think that's something for the community to really weigh in on. For us, we feel that the process has not been served. The process of the State Land Use Commission in 1995 giving the conditions on what was a light industrial project. And light industrial is defined as mostly light industrial with limited commercial. So this project has morphed in the last 2 years to being completely commercial, shopping center, outlet mall with no light industrial. Part of that is going back then to the State Land Use Commission and letting them know that there's been a change in the use, and that was in one of the conditions that was put on this in 1995. And then there was also a few other conditions that we feel were very important conditions, one being a frontage road, and also looking at the traffic studies that would really show what a shopping center would bring in versus what a light industrial park would bring in. So, 15 years ago, people thought it was a light industrial park. We keep getting the comment, people should have commented on this and spoken up 15 years ago when this happened, but it's apples and oranges. 15 years ago, the community thought they were going to get a light industrial park there. And there was a lot of feeling that a light industrial park would be good for people, that it was needed in the area, and a light industrial park would also create small businesses. People would have an opportunity to open businesses. So I think it's, a false argument to say you could have commented 15 years ago. No one was psychic. No one knew an outlet mall. Now people are hearing this and they want to have a voice in what happens in their community. So.
And if someone had gone 15 years ago and said, I am adamantly opposed to an outlet mall, they would have said, excuse me, ma'am,
that's not,
I think you're in the wrong hearing.
Right.
It says right there, light industrial, please step down, you're out of order.
Right.
So even if you had been psychic, you would have been chastised.
Yeah, right. So,
I think that the issue is not about whether we're getting an outlet mall or not. It's that I think the size is out of proportion to where we live and the size of our population and the traffic that it's going to create. I mean, we are talking about a 700,000 square foot mega mall that's going to cover 68 acres. It is 5 times the size of the existing Costco in Kahului. 800 spaces in Kahului, we're going to have 3,800 spaces. It's gone beyond what we need here. And the thing about jobs and economy, most of the profits go on off island.
Right.
In small businesses, we're constantly circulating the economy. We may pay cheaper prices, but in the long run, it's not helping our economy. We can spend less, but where are we going to make our money? I was on the Big Island in 1994 when Costco came in, and I watched Kona just go. All the small businesses that had been there for a long time. So Kahului is our commercial place. It's our industrial place. That's where all our box stores are. That's where all our chains are. That's where they belong at this point, I think, because that's what's happened to Kahului.
Well, and on that point also, right now, A&B's development here in Kahului, what they're working on now is more commercial space. The Target that we all hear is going to come. It's not going to come to South Maui. They've already said they're going to be part of the next increment of A&B's buildings. So it will be in Central Maui. And that, I mean, that is kind of the community plan where we all designated commercial activity to really center. And so, yeah, I think there's, you know, a lot of reasons, as you mentioned, the traffic. I think right now already Pi'ilani is just, it's an overstressed highway now. And without, you know, mitigations for that extra traffic, it's going to really be certainly an impact on quality of life for people.
And we have the flooding. We have
exactly,
and we have the night sky that's going to disappear and change the life cycle of the animals that are already being affected. And how much cement do we want to live in? Rainfall will change, climate will change. This is a matrix of concerns. It's not just about a mall. It's about the whole infrastructure that we live in, from the oceans to the land to the people, you know, to the traffic, to the pollution, but also where are our values? You know, people are saying to me, oh, well, look, they're going to build a high school. You know, because the mall, we're going to get a high school. And what people don't realize is the mall is not building the high school.
There's no connection at all.
There's no connection at all. And people are seeing this connection, and I'm saying the high school has been on the site plan for 13 years. It had $20 million, let it lapse because they couldn't get zoning from the state and the local. And now they have to raise money again. And here's a mega mall that comes in 2 years ago, not compliant, and it's building. And I'm saying, where are our values that commercialism has become more important than our education for our children or for a hospital? So we have to find that balance of where do we get the vision? And people coming here, like you said, they're not going to put their luggage at a higher weight, but why should they buy something that they can get down the street from where they live at a cheaper price? Everything gets higher here. Ross is higher here than it is when you go on the mainland because of import. So people are really coming here to see Maui, to take the breathing space, to have some time to relax and get away from the light pollution, the traffic pollution, the cement look that they live in. So how do we keep Maui Maui? How do we keep the land and grow in a way that's smart, that's sustainable, but that takes in a different vision so we can incorporate all this?
And back to, I mean, everything you're talking about the quality of life is really important, and even the whole economics. Like what you said, Mick, you know, you've traveled around the country and you've seen that there'll be an outlet mall, beautiful shopping center, and it's empty because then they just built one next door and everybody moved there. And remember, it's not businesses that create jobs, it's customers. And we have the customers that we have. We have the people that live here that we have. And until we start getting some good jobs, people aren't going to have expendable income. So they talk about they want to build, Wailea 670 still owes 600 so-called affordable homes that they're going to build on one of the 4 parcels where the outlet mall is. Well, I don't know how cheap they're going to build them, but I seriously doubt that they'll be cheap enough that you could work at the outlet mall and pay a mortgage or rent. At $7.25 an hour, you're taking home about $869 a month. And unless there's like 5 of you, how are you going to pay a mortgage and eat and drive a car? So, you have a place to live, and then there's this place to shop, but where's the income? There's just not enough. I'm glad, Mick, that your waitresses make enough money that they can buy fashion, but many people cannot.
Exactly. But I'm also on the other side of the street. I own 2 restaurants, but I'm in construction. I do plastering. Now this to me is, whoa, big jobs,
Right.
The worst thing about it is I do a lot of houses down in McKenna, Wailea, and I keep doing the houses. And it's still building the community. Kihei has been the biggest growing town in the nation for the last 5 years. I agree with you ladies about they've got to work out right now why we've got this open land hill. We've got to get another freeway up there, make sure we can handle the people coming in and out of Kihei. Like you say, I used to live on Kionikai, and I'd go and practice soccer, and it would take me 5 minutes to get down there. Now in a car, if we're practicing at 4 o'clock, it's 25 minutes in a car, It's just, there's a lot of people, the hotels are dumping out. We got one road, and now we're just going to jam it. The other part of it, which we were talking about, is the commercial side of it. Now, the commercial side of it is I have to go to Carl Louis every day to buy my materials, which is good if it's going to be the place and we're going to decide on it. But they're going to bring those places here and hopefully make it cheaper for us so we don't have to go to Carl Louis and we can buy our products here in Kihei. Basically, it's where a lot of work is. And I mean, it's got to be balanced out, We've got to make sure the roads are in there. We've got to make sure there's a happy medium.
But how much
And
more
that's
do you want to
exactly the
build?
point, I think, in that if you say what the project actually is, then mitigations are put in place and conditions are put in place so that everything is attended to. When you say it's going to be one thing and you're given the zoning and you're given the conditions and then it becomes something else,
Definitely,
then there is no mitigation in place for it. So you're really asking for a problem. And again, I think if you go back to quality of life, what's really important as a community grows is keeping up with the infrastructure. And you have to do that. And it's not only roads, it's water, it's wastewater, it's all of the things that a community needs. And so if you're only focused on building houses or building shopping centers and building, and you're not taking care of all those other things that we need for quality of life, then we're losing out. And I think that there's as many jobs in all of that. I don't think it always has to be that argument that if we don't do this, then there's no work. I mean, part of what smart growth principles are is to build in infill, build on the edge instead of going out into the prime ag lands that we could be using to grow our food. Build along the edges as the community grows and make sure that you have the infrastructure and you have the highways and you have it's like the Oluwalu town that's been so much in the news as well right now. Do you really put a complete town somewhere out in the middle like that where you don't have fire, you don't have police, you don't have schools, but you're going to add all these people in and onto the roads that are already overstressed? So again, I think if we really look at smart growth principles, we can have jobs for the community, we can grow wisely. And that's the legacy that we really need to leave to our children and our grandchildren.
How much more paving do we want to do till we lose all of Maui? It's like we're jumping ahead of ourselves, I see, in the sense that, well, if we build the mall, then we're going to build a road. And if we build the road, we're going to build homes. And then before you know it, we've paved paradise. and put up parking lots. And there's a point where it goes back to what is the vision of Maui? Yeah. Do we want it to look like Waikiki? Do we want it to look like Miami and LA? Where we are an island, furthest away from any landmass, and we have that wonderful opportunity to maintain it and grow. We could create not just jobs, but what about careers? You know, a job ends, the construction is over, then what? You're looking for the next job, right?
Yeah.
Well, what if we created careers for people? We have green technology all over the world. We could have solar highways here that are made here. We could recycle our own debris and teach people here, give them a vocation, a trade. Not everybody's in construction. I'm not in construction.
No.
So we can't just think of construction. Where's the broader picture of careers? Our children come out of college. They can't open up a business. They have to work 2-3 jobs. A family works 2-3 jobs, still not making ends meet. The family fabric goes down. How are the kids taken care of? Our school systems go down. It's this matrix again. It's like the layers of an onion. You peel one and then another one shows up. And we have to look at all of the infrastructure and not just the limited view of more, but what else can we do? We could have ag farms. We could be a huge export island. We could supply ourselves here. We can grow anything we want on this island. We have 6 climates out of the world's 13. We can be more self-sufficient. And that's what we need to look at. How do we keep the lure and the essence of Maui that I came here for? The beauty, the nature, and at the same time put in a little bit of chain here and a little bit of chain there. Why must it be 700,000 square feet in a town of 20,000 people? And this year alone, we added 203,000 square feet of vacant rental space. So added to what already is vacant. Now, if this mall, and we can't afford to buy in there, the local people, we're going to add 700,000 square feet or somewhat in there to more vacancies. And it's going to invite vacancies.
Totally agree with you.
So where's that balance again?
I really hope that everybody's done their homework, but as you're saying, have they done it? Have they watched the water supply we're going to need?
Right.
Have they worked out the motorways, the traffic we're going to have in Kihei?
None of it has been done.
You know, this should all be sat down and spoke with the community, but it seems like there's community people like ourselves, and then these people are saying, well, just do this, or who do I see to do this? Or that's the guy over there. But as long as somebody's got the answers, you know, we need somebody with all the answers and just to stand up and say, well, that's all been taken care of, and please explain it to the people, you know. I think it's an overkill.
That's a very good point right now.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really, a bone of contention for people in South Maui is that the developers of this project have not yet come to the community and had any
They've been invited.
They have declined each and every.
And I do know that at least a representative from Eclipse Development did meet, I believe, with the board of directors of the Kihei Community Association, but that's still not coming together and having a community meeting so that people could speak and they could learn. They could maybe hear that, you know, some of their fears will be alleviated. But the fact that they haven't even come I just don't think that's the way to do it here.
And a lot of people are under a misconception. They think it's a few stores. When I speak to people, they go, how big is it? I go, 5 times the size of Costco. They go, what?
Well, I think now that dust fence is up, people are getting much
starting
more
to-
of a perspective on that.
That's when everything changed, when people
Right.
got it. They say, well, I would like a Costco. This isn't going to be one store. It's like its own little city or its own little neighborhood.
Well, and another point that I'd like to just make, because it's kind of, I really am stumped on this. I don't understand. As I mentioned, one of the conditions that was placed on this by the State Land Use Commission was a frontage road. There's nothing in the plans to put in that frontage road. If you are going to have a high school right down from there, How can you not, in just good conscience, put that frontage road in? I mean, a shopping mall is a magnet for kids.
Right.
And you've got to figure that some of them will probably have part-time jobs there after school. How do they even get there? Are they just supposed to go up and down Pi'ilani Highway? I mean, it's just that. What is the benefit to the community? Where is there any thought for the community and well-being?
And Gylian has a PowerPoint presentation. You've said some of these things
Right.
Verbally, but I thought, well, it'd be nice for the audience to see this in writing, just see the graphs and everything. So let's show that PowerPoint.
Okay, well, let's go to slide 4, which shows an aerial of, you come into Kihei, keep going. The Kihei aerial is slide 8. But this is what people see when they first come in from the airport. And I had someone say to me, "Where's Maui? It looks like home, with all the box stores." So this is the slide that shows the relationship. There's Kihei town, little Azeka's Mall, and it's a little strip mall, but it has what we need. And then the red is where the mega mall is going to be. And they do propose to put a road up country.
Well, yeah,
That's
at some
what
point
their plan.
the upcountry road will
But
be
from
But
there,
they're
but
not
that's-
paying for it. They asked them
No.
point
But
blank, they're
they-
not paying for it.
And
No.
that upcountry road, no one knows when that's finally going to be
Right.
actually done. That's been talked about
How many
for
years have you
years
been
and
here?
years
I
and
mean,
years,
we'll all be,
Gone.
Right, so-
But that shows that whole segment of space that we're going to be using for this mega mall, and it is definitely going to impact everything in our community. And I just feel that we need to look at it and say, what more do we need here to help the quality of life, the lifestyle? We can't go back and undo the commercialism that has grown here. I mean, there was a big growth in the 70s that changed things. Condos came, restaurants, but do we have to repeat that kind of growth again? I lived in Miami for many years, and I watched it go this route, a little bit, then a little bit, and now it's just a corridor of cement everywhere. And the beauty of it, the tropicalness, is gone. And I'd like to see Maui preserved.
Do you have more slides that you want to show people?
Well, it's basically what I've spoken about, and yes, slide number 12, please. So there's the site plan for the mega mall on the right, the high school next to it. And the thing about the site plan is the mega mall never appeared on the site plan as a mega mall. It was light industrial. It never said Pi'ilani Promenade Shopping Center, ever. And it wasn't on the South Maui Growth Plan. So how does something like that come in without being on the growth plan, without being noted as a Pi'ilani Promenade shop of 700,000 square feet? And on that, can you just show that slide again, please? On that slide on the left, the green is Costco in that white square, and the brown is the size of the Pi'ilani Promenade. That's the relationship in size between Costco at 131,000 square feet and the mega mall at 700,000. And on the bottom slide, the green thin line is Kihei population, and the brown is Maui population. So here's a relationship of this brown box taking over Kihei. And I just looked at that and I said, it's overkill at this point for us. And it's going to put a tremendous tax on this community and a change that unfortunately might be changed forever.
My question is, and I did write an article for the Maui News about this, if these stores, the tenants from these stores, I assume are not, that they're savvy, that they're not naive, that they will not sign a long lease in a location that they will not be making money. and yet all the obvious indicators show that's not true. I did look at the developer's website, and it said, you know, in 2014, people in Kihei will be making, I don't know what it was, 85,000 or something that nobody I know here on Maui makes. I don't know. People are watching this from the mainland. We don't make 85,000 here.
With our 3 jobs.
I mean, we have owners of businesses who do hard labor in the day because that's what's necessary. So, and then the implication was that people would be making more in 2014 than they do in 2012. I also don't know anybody who's making more now than they were 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Everybody I know everybody's making less. So, but the developers are not naive. They're not just customers. This is their whole life mission, is to make sure that they're going to be successful. But all indicators show they're not. Why are they doing it anyway? And this is a real question. I start wondering about, you know, some kind of funny financial games.
Well, that's hard, because anything would be speculation. Who knows? I think a lot of times, though, what you see is because it does take so long for projects to actually come to fruition, that economics changes, and what they thought they were going to do by the time they're actually doing it. You know, a lot of times you get partially built things, or you get something that's built and it's never fully leased out. I mean, that's what we see all around. So as far as how far it will really go, if it's allowed to move forward.
Well, 4 years ago, our economy started going down. So, and they didn't start this idea they only started this idea 2 years ago. So,
well, 2 years ago is when it was announced to all of us. So I don't know. And you know, who knew how long with the economy that, you know, were people thinking that was a blip that was going to correct itself in a couple of years? I don't know. I don't know right now, though, if they've got anybody that's actually taking leases. I mean, they may build this and it may be hard to lease out.
The developer told me that they did, but he wouldn't give me any names, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I mean,
who owns the land?
Well, right now on the TMK, it's called Pi'ilani Promenade, LLC.
And they, like when we done Longs, it was A and B, but it was Eagle Hardware back then, but they had it for 10 years at least, and they put their building up. Is this going to be the same situation where
this is massive, many buildings. This isn't just a building.
Yeah, but are you actually, these people are coming in and build these buildings on a lease?
Well, no, it's a development company out of California, Eclipse Development, and that's what they do. They build shopping centers.
And
so
they're buying the land and building them themselves?
They have been with a partnership here on Maui that's changed over time. In the beginning, the partnership was part of the industrial park project, and so...
I mean, I do like the quality of life, the sports we have in Kihei, the swimming pool. We do need a police station. We do need a high school. But
oh, definitely.
Those are in the works.
Yes.
I mean, the police station is being built, so that's a done deal.
If this is going to be an overkill and hurt the community, I mean, people need to talk about this. You know, if it's going to.
Well, and I think
it's going to hurt me.
Yeah,
it is. Everyone's going to move from our shopping centre up there.
Yeah. Right, you're only 2 blocks. You're
and
not
we've
even
got
2 blocks
spaces
away.
in our shopping centre right now.
And that's the point.
And doesn't that affect you as a tenant, that you have to your dues, your
common
area fees go up?
I mean, if I had to go up there and do a build out instead of a turnkey operation where I could get a bar for 150,000, that price would be 750,000, putting the grease traps in.
Yeah.
And it's right now I wouldn't be able to do it.
No.
I mean, it's going to get a lot of people come from California and the mainland.
No, none of our local businesses, you know, Dog and Duck Irish Pub, you know, Diamond Ice Bar and Grill, our local businesses. It's going to be TGI Fridays, or do we already have one of those? No,
we have Ruby Tuesdays.
Ruby Tuesdays. I mean, it's just going to be more and more corporations and less
fast
local
food chains.
And fast food chains.
Exactly.
Like we all need more fast food.
We do have a selection of food in Kihei. We have some great restaurants.
Yeah.
Ruby Tuesdays, they went in their big corporation, they know what they're doing. And it's the restaurants, it's a great business, what we have now, but more businesses, it's just going to, there won't be enough money to go around.
Well, see, that's it. There's not going to be enough money, but in the process, we're going to lose employment. Unemployment's going to grow because the business people that are going to go out, and say they've been in business 50, 60 years, they're in their 60s or 70s, where are they going to get a job? How are they going to continue to pay their mortgage and buy the things, the necessities of life, not even the extras? So it's going to be a spiral down, and while the mega mall is going up, but yet really is it helping our economy? So it's like, okay, you want a few more stores, bring them into Azeka. Support the vacant stores that are already available.7 businesses go in. You know, there's 22 vacancies in Kihei alone, all of Kihei, that range from 70 square foot to 12,500 square foot space. That's a lot of
Commercial.
space.
You're talking about
commercial retail.
70 commercial retail.
No, there's 22 vacancies
Of commercial.
of retail commercial space in Kihei.
Okay.
70 square foot spaces, and the largest is 12,500 square feet. That is a lot of space in this little town to be vacant, and what's going to happen? So how does the community, and the thing that I'm noticing in the community is a lot of apathy. They feel these big guys come in, and it's like, it's a done deal. I can't do anything about it. When in fact, things are being done about it by a small group like Maui Tomorrow. And we have legal action. And what big chain is going to come into a mall where there's legal action against it also?
Well,
so this has
we
been
don't know the answer to
supportive, no. But we are getting heard. And I would like to see more people speak up. And more businesses speak up.
I think, though, you know, that's the message that's coming out of the county administration right now, and that's kind of disappointing that they're saying it's a done deal. It's a done deal, and it's not really a done deal.
No, not at all.
In fact, the State Office of Planning really came forward with a response to the Land Use Commission saying exactly our point, that the nature of this project has changed and it needs to go back before them. It's you can't just switch like that. So that's encouraging. You know, who knows what will happen? But again, you know, for Maui Tomorrow, I think maybe the community will say, we want more shopping. Maybe they will say that. I don't know that, but maybe they will. And if they do, that's fine. But where we come from it at is that the process, we have processes in place, we have the legal foundation, and we need to go forward on that. So, you know, we'll just be happy to have our day at the State Land Use Commission and see where things go from there. And then, you know, hopefully there could be some kind of community meetings where people could speak for and against.
Yeah, because I think people need to be educated and informed of what realities this mall really brings.
Right. Not
just, I get new clothes, I can go hang out there, you know. It's really, what's the effect on the whole community and also the whole island of Maui?
Well, and I think that goes back again to quality of life. When you have a lot of the development that's taken place on the island and you have a lot of empty space, that's the time that you really need to be looking at how you can refurbish and remodel and bring businesses into existing spaces, because it's just not healthy to have a lot of empty spaces that are derelict spaces. It's not good for the tenants that are nearby when you have it's the same thing with the housing bubble. Once there were so many empty houses around, it's the worst thing for a neighborhood. So it's certainly the same for retail and commercial. And those are jobs as well. We could put people to work refurbishing. And more business could come. I mean, I just think there's a positive side to this if we would just look at it that way.
Exactly.
And I mean, it's sort of like the lessons our parents would have taught us when we were kids. You have to use up what you've got before you can go on to the next
Yeah, you eat your
things.
dinner before
Yeah.
you eat your dessert. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
you
kind
can't
of
just be tired of one thing and go on to the next and leave the debris behind you. So why don't we use our resources wisely
Can I
and
just say
really make for good community? And that goes back to what I said earlier about the three-legged stool. When you have a community whose needs are being met, the social issues are better. We're being impacted with a lot of social issues right now, and we have to realize that they're all related.
And the social issues are because of what you said earlier, Mick, is that the parents don't make enough money at their jobs, so they have to work too many jobs, so they're not there for the kids. And everybody knows that kids without, being occupied or supervision can go off on the wrong direction. I mean, there's other reasons too, because of No Child Left Behind and forcing kids to learn to the test instead of being taught to be whole child. That's a whole different topic, but also quality of life and all these things, they're all going in the wrong direction. And regarding the county, there's an excellent Civil Beat article, so check out the Civil Beat article. Civil Beat is not afraid to it doesn't pull punches.
Yeah, good
it's just
reporting.
it's not trying to get in anybody's good side. It's just going to say the truth as per their investigation. So check that article out.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with a young woman who works at the college, and she helps young people go through, she's almost like a guidance counselor for them and young. She says the saddest thing is they don't want to leave Maui because they've grown up here, they live here, and they're going for careers, and yet when they get out of college, all they can do is get a job at McDonald's. There's no place for them to use their learned skills, their trades, their businesses, because how could they compete? She says one girl's a fashion designer. Where is she going to compete with, all the stores that are here? Wouldn't it be nice to have warehouses or little manufacturing plants where people could develop their own skills, create their own businesses, and have that grow and become part of the economy and grow the economy that way? And also not have to leave Maui.
Exactly.
And then we can have a young population
Exactly.
rather than a population that's leaving the island because they can't either work here or afford to work here or even have a family here.
I liked what you touched on before when you had the percentage of the Hawaiians and everything. Who's gonna benefit of all these stores? How many Hawaiians are gonna be put to work? We're doing a fundraiser, and we do fundraisers, and we're doing a golf tournament where we're gonna be doing a golf tournament, and there's going to be a lot of people playing golf. We're doing a silent auction, and it's all going to go towards these kids. And we're targeting kids that can't pay their lunch thing. So the schools know what they do. Kamalihi, we're only doing it in Kihei. And then we're going to buy scholarships for the kids, and the kids are going to get scholarship, and we're going to give the people at the school would know who to give them to. And they get that scholarship. We're going to ask the teachers to make sure they bring up one grade, math or something, and if they don't bring it up, we're going to give it to them. And give these kids a break, and it's like that everyone's missing a big picture, that the young kids in Maui's getting left behind more and more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thing about it, it's like, and these kids will get that scholarship, and I coach. And I've seen these kids, and they've been the toughest kids on the field. But then they get into a team effort. They got that paper on their wall. They finish it, and you give them a new lease on life.
Mm-hmm.
And now it should be a percentage of these Hawaiian people. They should have a vote on this and seeing who they're going to employ, because these mainland companies are going to bring in their own people, and
That's
then we're
what
just going to have a new influx of people.
And I think we kind of wrap it up very quickly, but I think the point you made before, Gylian, was careers. People want careers. They want living wage careers. People don't, jobs is just a fix. Okay, I got
Right.
my job. Okay, yes, you're not going to starve, but is there much quality of life? People want to do things that are creative and that they enjoy, and light industrial also, like you said, small businesses, manufacturing, renewable energy, R&D.
Right.
But anyway, so now everybody gets a chance, about a minute, to tell talk to the camera and tell tell the community what you want from them. So I guess start off with you, Mickey.
Oh, do I have to be first?
Okay, start off with you, Irene.
Start off with me? Okay.
I've got to think about that.
Well, I would ask the community to support Maui Tomorrow Foundation and the work that we're doing, and in particular, if you care about this issue with the mega malls in South Maui, then go to our website, www.maui-tomorrow.org, and hit the donate button and help us with the Pi'ilani Promenade Legal Fund so that we can continue to see that the process is served. And I guess that's what I would ask people to do right now. And I'd say even if you don't live in South Maui, I would ask you to care about this issue because it could be coming to your neighborhood real soon.
Exactly.
And just support us in the work that we do because we're really trying to look out for everyone's best interests on the island.
Great, thank you, Irene. Okay, you look like you're ready now.
Yes, I'm ready now. I'll be happy for everybody to help us when we do this golf tournament. We didn't touch base at anything like what we should do, I thought we were going to talk about small businesses as we did, but where I'm at now, one of my restaurants has gone up $800 a month rent. Now, for me, we're managing to get by, but for a lot of people, that's going to cripple their business. Now, we're talking about putting a new mall in. I mean, it's going to really be tough on us. I mean, right now we've got the windmills, we've got the solar farms, and our electric bill's getting higher and higher. Yeah. And it's, that's what I'd really like to see, see a change where we're going to benefit from everything that's going on, because it's pretty much like the mall. We're taxpayers in Maui are paying for these windmills. I would like to see a return on it,
Absolutely.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So I think we need CPR, a little CPR here. And what I'm talking about CPR is conscious people, community people with resources. And not just financial resources, we need those to help the legal fund, but to also any financial resources to help our small businesses. But we also need people who care about the environment, care about our education, care about our health, and are willing to speak up. Whatever it is that you want to say, please speak out. We need you to talk to your neighbors, talk to each other. We need the small businesses to speak up and not dig your head in the sand like, I don't want to deal with this, it's a done deal, like we said before, because it's not. This is still your community, this is still your Maui, and what we need is for everybody to speak up and come together as a community and say, this is what we want, this is what we need. Just like you said, the solar, the windmills, we can be supporting ourselves, cut our cost of living, cut our expenses, and have much more money to do things that we would enjoy to do. And so please contact any one of us. You can contact me at gyliansolay@gmail.com and talk to me. I am looking for volunteers to put a committee together to help Kihei figure out what it is they need to do.
Absolutely. And this is going to be the last show before the election. There's going to be a primary election. It's going to be August 11th. And please vote. Please first research the candidate, look at their records, look what they've done for their communities, and vote for the people that you feel are going to actually implement the vision that you have. So please vote. That's really, really important. That's what's going to keep democracy here, is people voting.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much, and we hope to see you. The Salon is our sponsor, so please patronize them. They're awesome. They do my hair.